She smiled. Don't do anything stupid while I'm away. I told everyone you're predictable. So I took her at her word and removed myself completely, packed my clothes, ended the lease, and left the city. When she came home to an empty apartment, the only thing waiting was a note on the counter. Nothing stupid, exactly as promised. I, 28 male, am watching my ex-girlfriend's world collapse in real time. Karen is blowing up my phone right now. 37 missed calls in the last hour. Voicemails that start calm and professional, then shift to confused, then angry, then desperate. The last one was her crying, asking me where everything went, where I went. I have not listened to a single one all the way through. I do not need to. I already know what she's going to say. The same thing she always said when she realized she had pushed too far. That she did not mean it. That I am overreacting. That we can talk about this. But here is the thing. I am not overreacting. I did exactly what she told me to do. I did not do anything stupid. I kept my word. 2 weeks ago, Karen stood in our apartment, suitcase packed, boarding pass on her phone, and looked at me with that smile. The one she used when she thought she had won an argument before it even started. She said, "Don't do anything stupid while I am away. I told everyone you are predictable." Then she laughed. Not a mean laugh exactly. More like the laugh you give a child who just said something adorably naive. She kissed me on the cheek, wheeled her bag out the door, and left for her 2-week girls' trip to Miami. That was the last time she saw me in person. Because the moment that door closed, I made a decision. If she wanted predictable, I would give her predictable. Predictably, I would do exactly what was best for me. No drama, no shouting, no stupid mistakes. Just a clean, surgical exit. Let me rewind. Karen and I had been together for 3 years. We met at a marketing conference in Chicago. She was sharp, confident, the kind of person who walked into a room and made people pay attention. I was drawn to that energy. At first, it felt like she saw something in me that no one else did. She said I was steady, reliable, the kind of guy who did not play games. I thought that was a compliment. For the first year it was. We moved in together after 8 months. She picked the apartment, a 1-bedroom in the city, closer to her office than mine. I did not mind. I could take the train. She chose the furniture, modern, clean lines, everything white and gray. I did not mind that either. It looked good. She managed our social calendar, dinners with her friends, happy hours with her coworkers, weekend trips to see her family. I went along. I thought that was what partnership looked like. Compromise, flexibility, being supportive. But somewhere in year 2, the compliments started to shift. Steady became boring. Reliable became predictable. She started making little comments. In front of friends, she would laugh and say, "Richard never surprises me. I always know exactly what he's going to do." At dinners with her family, her sister would ask what we did last weekend, and Karen would sigh and say, "The usual. Richard does not like trying new things." When I suggested we take a trip somewhere I wanted to go, she would smile and say, "Maybe next time. You know I am better at planning these things." I started to notice a pattern. Every decision was hers. Every plan was hers. Every opinion that mattered was hers. And when I tried to push back, even gently, she had a way of making me feel like I was being difficult, like I was the one causing problems. So I stopped pushing. I told myself it was not worth the fight, that she was just more assertive than me, that I was overthinking it. Then about 6 months ago, she started talking about the Miami trip. Her college friends were planning a 2-week vacation, an expensive resort, beach clubs, the whole setup. She did not ask if I was okay with it. She told me she was going. I said, "Fine." She said, "Good. I knew you would understand. You are always so easygoing." I did not feel easygoing. I felt dismissed, but I smiled and nodded because that was what I always did. The week before the trip, she started making jokes. She told her friends on speakerphone, "I am leaving Richard alone for 2 weeks. Pray for him. He is going to survive on takeout and probably forget to water the plants." They laughed. She laughed. I did not laugh. That morning when she was packing, I asked if she wanted me to take her to the airport. She said no. She had already ordered a car. I asked if she wanted me to pick her up when she got back. She said she would let me know. Then came the line. the one that changed everything. Don't do anything stupid while I am away. I told everyone, you are predictable. I stood there watching her walk out, and something inside me clicked. I sat on the couch for maybe 10 minutes after she left. The apartment was quiet. Too quiet. I looked around. White walls, gray furniture. Not a single thing in that space that felt like mine. My books were on the bottom shelf because she did not like clutter. My shoes were in the closet by the door because she did not want them in the bedroom. My coffee maker was tucked in the corner of the counter because it did not match her aesthetic. I pulled out my phone and opened my email. There was a message I had been sitting on for 2 weeks. A recruiter from a tech company in Austin had reached out about a senior project manager role. Better pay, better benefits, better city. I had ignored it because Karen and I were in the city, because leaving would mean starting over, because I thought we were building something together. I responded to the recruiter. I said I was interested. I said I could start in 3 weeks. By that evening, I had a phone interview scheduled. By the next morning, I had a video call with the hiring manager. By day 3, I had an offer letter in my inbox. I accepted it. Then I started moving in silence. I went to the leasing office and asked about our lease. We had 4 months left. I offered to pay out the remainder in full if they let me terminate early. They said yes. I wrote the check. I went to the storage facility 2 blocks away and rented a unit. I started packing. Clothes first, then books, then kitchen items that were actually mine. I worked at night after my remote work hours, boxing everything up and moving it into storage. I left her stuff untouched. Her dishes, her decor, her furniture. I did not take anything that was not clearly mine. I contacted the utility companies. I transferred the internet, gas and electric into her name only. I updated my address with the bank, my employer, my insurance. I called the post office and set up mail forwarding. I hired movers for the bigger items, my desk, my bike, the few pieces of furniture I had brought into the relationship. They came on day 9. Karen was halfway through her trip, posting photos on Instagram of her and her friends on a yacht. I boxed up the last of my things, swept the apartment, and wiped down the surfaces I had touched. I stood in the empty living room, looking at the space that had never really felt like mine, and I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, just clarity. On the kitchen counter, I left a single sheet of paper. It said, "Nothing stupid, exactly as promised." I locked the door, dropped my keys in the mailbox slot at the leasing office, and drove to Austin, update 1. Karen came home on a Tuesday. I know because my phone started ringing at 11:47 a.m. I was in my new apartment, unpacking boxes, when the first call came through. I let it go to voicemail, then another, then another. By noon, I had 15 missed calls. I opened the voicemail app. The first message was calm. "Hey, Richard, I am at the apartment. Where are you? Call me back." The second was confused. "Richard, seriously, where are you? Why is all your stuff gone? What is going on?" The third was angry. "This is not funny. Call me right now." I deleted them without listening all the way through. Then the texts started. "Where are you? Why did you leave? We need to talk. You cannot just leave without saying anything. This is insane. Call me back." I did not respond. I put my phone on silent and kept unpacking. Around 3 p.m., she called from a different number. I assumed she borrowed a friend's phone. I let that one go to voicemail too. She left a message. Her voice was shaking. "Richard, I do not understand what is happening. Please just talk to me. I came home and everything is gone. Your clothes, your desk, even your coffee maker. The lease office said you paid out the lease. What does that mean? Where did you go? Please just call me back. I am really freaking out." I listened to that one, not because I felt bad, but because I wanted to hear it. The panic, the confusion, the realization that I had actually left, that I was not coming back. That night, my phone rang again. This time it was her sister. I answered. "Richard, what the hell is going on?" she said. I kept my voice calm. "I moved, that is all." "You moved? What do you mean you moved? Karen is losing her mind. She said you just disappeared." "I did not disappear," I said. "I packed my things and left. I paid out the lease. I ended the utilities in my name. I left her a note. Everything is handled. A note? Richard, you do not just leave a note and disappear. You have been together for 3 years. I know, I said. And in those 3 years, she made it very clear that I was predictable. So I did the predictable thing. I removed myself from a situation that was not working. Her sister went quiet. Then she said, Karen is going to want to talk to you. She can try, I said, but I do not have anything to say. I hung up. I blocked her sister's number. Then I blocked Karen's number. Then I blocked her friends. I did not need to hear their version of the story. I already knew what they would say, that I was being dramatic, that I should have talked to her first, that walking away without a conversation was cruel. But here is the thing. I had been talking to her for 3 years. She just was not listening. Update 2. Over the next week, Karen tried everything. She emailed me. I set up a filter to send her messages straight to a folder I did not check. She messaged me on LinkedIn. I restricted her access. She showed up at my old gym. The front desk told her I had canceled my membership. She called my brother. He told her I was fine and that she should respect my decision. She posted on social media a vague story about how some people do not have the courage to face their problems. I did not respond. I did not engage. I just kept moving forward. My new job started on Monday. The onboarding was smooth. My manager was supportive. My coworkers were friendly. The apartment in Austin was smaller than the one in the city, but it was mine. I picked the furniture. I chose the color scheme. I bought a coffee maker I actually liked and put it front and center on the counter. I started exploring the city. I joined a cycling group. I went to a comedy show. I tried a new restaurant every weekend. I was doing all the things Karen used to say I would never do. Trying new things. Being spontaneous. Living. Meanwhile, her world was falling apart. I heard through my brother, who heard through a mutual friend, that Karen was spiraling. She had to cover the full rent on her own now, which she could not afford. She tried to find a new roommate, but the lease was only for another 3 months, and no one wanted a short-term situation. She ended up moving back in with her parents. She also had to explain to everyone why I left. And the truth was, she did not have a good answer. Because what could she say? That she spent 3 years dismissing me, calling me boring, and taking me for granted. And I finally had enough. Her friends started asking questions. Why did Richard leave? What did you do? Did you cheat on him? She denied everything. She said I was overreacting, that I left over nothing, that I was being immature. But people started to notice. One of her coworkers reached out to me on LinkedIn. She said, I do not know what happened between you and Karen, but I just want to say I always thought you were too good for her. She talked about you like you were her assistant, not her partner. Another mutual friend sent me a message. Karen is telling people you abandoned her, but I remember how she used to talk to you. She treated you like you were lucky to be with her. Good for you for leaving? The more people reached out, the more I realized I was not crazy. I was not overreacting. I had just finally decided to stop accepting less than I deserved. And Karen could not handle that. Because for 3 years, she had built her life around the assumption that I would always be there, that I would always accommodate, that I would never leave. She was wrong. Update 3. A month after I moved, Karen sent one final email. It got through because I had not thought to block her personal email address, only her work one. The subject line said, "Please read this." I almost deleted it, but something made me open it. The email was long. She started by saying she understood why I left, that she had been taking me for granted, that she did not realize how much she had hurt me until I was gone. She said she missed me, that she wanted to fix things, that she was willing to change. She said she had started therapy, that she was working on herself, that she wanted a second chance. At the end, she wrote, I know I do not deserve it, but if you are willing to talk, I am willing to listen. I am sorry, Richard. I really am. I read the email twice, then I closed it and moved it to the trash. Not because I did not believe her, but because it did not matter. She was sorry because I left. Not because she realized what she was doing was wrong. She was sorry because she lost her comfortable setup. Not because she valued me as a person, and I was done being someone's backup plan. 2 weeks later, I got a message from my brother. He said, Karen called me again. She is asking if you are seeing anyone. I laughed. I was not seeing anyone. I was focused on my job, my hobbies, and rebuilding a life that felt like mine. But the fact that she was asking meant she was still holding on to the idea that I might come back, that I might change my mind. I told my brother, "Tell her I am happy. That is all she needs to know." He said, "Are you happy?" I thought about it. Was I happy? I was not sure yet, but I was lighter. I was not walking on eggshells. I was not second-guessing every decision. I was not waiting for someone to validate my choices. I was just living, and that felt like enough. "Yeah," I told him, "I am happy." A few months later, I ran into one of Karen's friends at a conference in Dallas. She recognized me and came over. She said, "Richard, hi. I heard you moved to Austin." "I did," I said. She hesitated, then said, "I just want to say, I think you did the right thing. Karen was not good to you. I told her that after you left, but she did not want to hear it." "Thanks," I said. "I appreciate that." She looked uncomfortable, then said, "She is not doing well, by the way. She had to move back in with her parents. She is working the same job, but barely keeping up with her bills. She talks about you a lot. I think she regrets it." I did not say anything. She continued, "I know it is not my place, but I think she genuinely wants to make things right." I nodded. "I believe that, but making things right does not mean going back. It means moving forward." She smiled a little sadly. "Fair enough." We talked for a few more minutes, then she left. I did not feel guilty. I did not feel vindicated. I just felt neutral. Karen was not my problem anymore. By the 6-month mark, I had fully settled into my new life. I got promoted at work. I bought a car. I started dating again. Nothing serious, just meeting people and seeing what felt right. I joined a running club and signed up for a half marathon. I reconnected with old friends I had lost touch with because Karen did not like them. I traveled to places I had always wanted to see, but never suggested because I knew she would say no. I built a life that felt like mine, not ours. Mine. And it was good. One day I got a notification on Instagram. Karen had posted a story. It was a photo of her at a coffee shop looking out the window. The caption said, "Learning to appreciate the small things." I did not react. I did not comment. I just kept scrolling. A week later, she posted another one. A quote about letting go and moving forward. I blocked her. Not because I was angry, but because I did not need to see it. Her healing was not my responsibility. My healing was, and I was doing just fine. Final closure. It has been a year now since I left. A full year since I walked out of that apartment and started over. People ask me sometimes if I regret it, if I think I should have tried harder, if I should have given her a second chance. The answer is no, not because I think she is a bad person, but because I finally understood something I should have realized a long time ago. You cannot fix a relationship where only one person is doing the work. For 3 years, I bent, I adjusted, I compromised, and Karen just kept expecting more. She did not see me as a partner. She saw me as a supporting character in her story, and when I left, she did not miss me. She missed the role I played, the dependable guy who paid half the rent and did not complain, the predictable one who would always be there, no matter how little she valued him. But I am not that guy anymore. I am the guy who knows his worth, who does not settle for being tolerated when he deserves to be celebrated, who understands that walking away is not giving up, it is choosing yourself. Last month, I met someone new. Her name is Angela. She is a graphic designer. We met at a coffee shop. She asked me about the book I was reading, and we ended up talking for 2 hours. When I told her about my job, she listened. When I suggested we try a new restaurant, she said yes. When I told her I was thinking about taking a pottery class, she said that sounded fun and asked if she could join. It is still early. I am not rushing anything, but it feels different. It feels easy. It feels like I am not constantly proving my value. I am just being myself, and that is enough. Sometimes late at night, I think about that moment. Karen standing in the apartment, suitcase in hand, telling me not to do anything stupid. I wonder if she ever realized the irony, that the stupid thing would have been staying, that the smart thing, the brave thing, was leaving. I do not think she does, but it does not matter, because I am not waiting for her to understand. I am not waiting for an apology. I am not waiting for closure from her. I already have it. I gave it to myself the day I walked out, the day I chose me. And that note I left on the counter, nothing stupid, exactly as promised. I meant every word.